from Worcester Academy in Worcester, Massachusetts. We're here for the NEPSAC Class D boys basketball finals here between the top-seeded New York Military Academy Knights and the Rocky Hill Country Day Mariners. I'm Cameron Beal, joined by Sean Kelly. And Sean, these teams got here by the New York Military Academy taking down number 5 Christian Heritage 73-36 in the semifinals. In Rocky Hill Country Day, taking down number 3 Boston Trinity by a final of 65-38 their last time out.
Definitely familiar foes. They've met in the finals here for the last 5 years, and in those years they've won their semifinal games pretty convincingly. But what we'll see today, a lot of up and down. New York Military definitely has a little bit of a size advantage, but Rocky Hill is tremendous in transition. And last year it was a 2-point final against these same two teams, so it should be exciting today.
And the starters for NYMA, Jake Devaney, Alan Myers, Kasparis, Sitter Vicious, Khalil Baker, and Carlos Coggers. And for Rocky Hill Country Day, Emmanuel Belde, Maxwell Knight, Alexander LaHuler, Evan Mitchner, and Elijah McNair. And we are just about set to go. And away we go. New York Military will kick things off for us here from the Class D Finals in Worcester.
See a little 2-3 zone early from Rocky Hill.
Devaney swings it back around to the other side, down into the post, goes up with it, blocked away by Evan Mitchner. Here comes Rocky Hill. Mitchner finds Belde to the corner, stops, pops, a little too strong on that one.
Good elbow entry there for Rocky Hill. Get some spacing for an open shot over there on the right side.
Near side, Devaney flips the court for a backside layup. Once again blocked away. 2 possessions, 2 blocks for Rocky Hill, but New York's going to get their own miss. Goes up strong, gets his own miss again, and Rocky Hill eventually comes up with it. Here they come. The Mariners out of Rhode Island. Handoff to Mitchner. Looking for space in the corner, heads toward the midline, goes up for the lay. There's going to be a foul on that one. Our first stoppage of the day. Emmanuel Belde was on the attempt there.
It's a good athletic move inside the paint. A little bit of a late whistle, but definitely the right call.
Our first free throw of the afternoon. A little short on that one, 0 for 1. We're still looking for our first points of the day.
Sometimes in these championship games, it takes you a while to get going, right?
Yep. Once you get the first one down, eases the nerves a little bit, and we're going to have to wait a little bit longer for that moment to come. Alan Myers with the miss, and here comes NYMA.
Back to that 2-3 zone right here, and it's got some matchup components where those bottom guys are handing off post cuts.
3-pointer away for Jake Devaney. Rattles out, rebound by Rocky Hill. Here they come. Slow down the pace as they get across half court. Drives right, spins toward the middle. Pull up at the free throw line. Wide left.
It's not going to be many uncontested shots today for either team with that length out there.
Devaney once again enters to the free throw line, finds a backside cutter and gets that one home for 2. Our first points on the day. A few ticks under 14 minutes to go here in the first.
Little miscommunication on the back end by Rocky Hill between the middle of that zone and the far end forward.
Takes it himself, and we talk about a lid being on the rim. They're having trouble getting it over the rim early in this one. It was Evan Mitchner on the attempt there for Rocky Hill Country Day. They'll keep possession. Take it under their own basket.
Looks like Neiman's switching to a 2-3 zone under out of bounds right now.
McNair to Mitchner. Far side corner, driving left, goes up with the right. Emmanuel Belde.
Nifty little finisher on the rim.
the officials over to the scores table.
Is this about the jump ball?
Yep.
Shot clock. Oh, no, it's about the fouls.
The officials sorting through and making sure they have the correct number of fouls on the correct players, and looks like they've got things figured out down there, and we'll get ready to go. Tied at 2 apiece here, 13:35 to play here in the first. Here comes NYMA. Swings it back to the left, and thought maybe a travel there, maybe took a few extra steps. The refs are going to let him play. A screen from Baker, gets it down to him on the pick and roll, too strong on the way. Mariners on the break, poked away. Up ahead, looking for Khalil Baker, gets it just in time to take back the lead.
I think Nima was fortunate there with that loose ball turnover. Rocky Hill's really strong when they get out in transition.
Michener takes the screen from Knight. Gets it away to McNair. All right, wing tries to take it himself, kicks it back out to Belday. Puts a move on, they're going to get him for the walk there.
A little too quick there.
It's those first steps that'll always get you. Jake Devaney will take it on the near sideline for New York. Into Khalil Baker. And up across half court. NYMA waiting for the play to develop. 15 seconds on the shot clock. A screen from Alan Myers up top, and another one. Gliding left, flips the court. Devaney fakes the triple. Goes with the reverse. No good, can't get it to rattle.
That matchup zone is giving Nima some trouble. It's slowing him down offensively in the half court. They look to screen the inside of the zone to make some things happening, but Rocky Hill's doing a good job keeping him off balance early on.
Feels like it's been all New York to this point, at least possession-wise, just a 4-2 lead for the Military Academy and the Knights.
It's going to be an illegal.
Illegal screen on Alan Myers. We're going to head the other way.
You got both teams going to that wing screen action early on. See if they can get a piece of the paint, draw some weak side help, and get some open shots on the perimeter.
Michener marked by Coggers. Back toward the elbow, and they're going to get Myers on back-to-back fouls. They'll push from behind there.
We've seen that same action early on where Rocky Hill's going to look to isolate, get the ball there on the elbow, rip through, either get to the rim or draw that weak side defender for an open look for their shooter in the corner.
Myers will take a seat after, like I said, back-to-back fouls, the illegal screen on the offensive end, and a push from behind. Back on defense. They welcome their first substitute into the game. Michener looking for a passing lane. McNair to Michener. Michener pulls up from the right side, elbow, wide right on the J.
Neiman's doing a good job defending that elbow entry, making it hard to really get what Rocky Hill wants on that second action.
Devaney will pull things back out for New York. They'll reset their play call. Baker enters below to Devaney. Devaney stops, pops, and rattles it down. Our first triple on the afternoon. New York 7, Rocky Hill 2.
I mean, is it fair for me to say just left-handed people seem to just, it looks so much nicer?
It does. It really does. It's the opposite of what you say about, NFL quarterbacks. The left just doesn't quite look right in basketball. Just when you're a lefty, maybe it's just that you notice it more. Quick turnover, fast break for Rocky Hill. Euro step up with the right. In two for Elijah McNair.
Say the lid's off the basket now. They're ready to go.
Like I said, just got to get the first couple down, and they'll get warmed up, and suddenly it's a one-point ball game after the Devaney triple. Devaney comes up with a loose ball and hooks it with the left. A little contact. The stripes say play on. Rocky Hill upping the tempo here, and they've got the lead.
Playing their style now. With the made baskets, they're able to get into their press, speed the tempo up.
Devaney, they're running the offense through him now. Can't get the triple. Baker cleans it up, but no good on the lay.
Sometimes when you go to that press and you don't generate a turnover and someone gets a quick shot, it's as good as a turnover.
Yep. McNair on the triple. Baker once again with the rebound. I'd like to see the rebound numbers on Khalil Baker by the end of the day. By far the biggest guy out on the court.
Oh, my goodness, definitely.
They're trying to enter it down to him. Don't quite have the lane for it. Here's Coggers with the floater. Gets it to go.
Much better job by Nima offensively, getting it east to west, shifting that zone a little bit, caused some miscommunications. Much better than really trying to pound it in on one side and allowing that zone to stay in place.
Here's Mitchner. Awaiting the screen from Max Knight. Comes back with another one. Finds Knight on the roll, kind of backpedals into a lopsided layup, and here comes New York the other way. Devaney fakes the triple, cuts back inside, met by a trio of Mariners, and they'll stop that one before the shot. Wasn't the act of shooting, so Devaney will go to the line.
Looks like that one's going to be on Maxwell Knight.
No good on the first. Devaney, a 6'6" wing. Senior for New York.
Mariners are going to have to keep Knight out of foul trouble. He's doing a great job anchoring the middle of that zone right now, which is pretty effective.
Yep. But really the only guy, height-wise at least, that matches up with Khalil Baker of the Knights. Mitchner gliding left. Again, another screen from Knight. Shoves it off, takes a second screen, kicks to the near side. Corner for three, no good. Quick on the break are the Knights. They find Devaney, a little bit of an errant pass, and once the dust settles, the Mariners come up with it, and they'll slow it down.
Hillier did a great job staying with it after that deflection.
Again, another screen from Knight, and they're going to call him for a hip check on that one.
That's exactly what we said.
Yep.
It's going to be bad news for the Mariners.
Both for Alan Myers of the Knights and Max Knight of the Mariners. A few early fouls for the Bigs.
Electing to play him with two.
8:20 to play in the first. Khalil Baker at the free throw line. A nice spin move, but can't keep a handle on the ball. Off his own knee, it's going to go the other way.
Did a good job defensively there, moving his feet, keeping his arms straight up.
Hand off to McNair, another one to Belday, another one to Mitchner. Probing the defense at the free throw line, tipped out of there. Baker comes up with it. Here he comes on the break. Devaney. That's going to be a goaltend as the ball had already hit the backboard when he went up for the block.
You know, a lot of people think that as you ascend down the alphabet and you get to the Class D championship, that type of athlete doesn't exist in this game, and they couldn't be any more wrong.
Yep. We've seen a ton of athleticism here today. You know, maybe the most athletic guy on the floor. I talked about him, the biggest guy on the floor, Khalil Baker, but we saw him running the break there for the Knights on that last one before the goaltend over Devaney. They flip the court to the near side. McNair to Belday to Mitchner, tipped out of there by Devaney, and here come the Knights on the break. No good on the first attempt. Devaney on the trailer. And these teams just still having some trouble getting those layups to fall. New York in particular. They've had a few easy chances. You'd like to think they could be up by a few more baskets at this point.
And there's definitely some offensive woes out there, but that's a credit to both teams' defense. I mean, they're doing a great job getting in the lanes, using their athleticism, and there's some long bodies. I think it's a little hard to tell from up here, but if you head down there, you definitely take a second glance, and that court gets smaller.
Definitely. Right? Even when I said Jake Devaney's height a few minutes ago, 6'6", it took me by surprise. Up above the court here, you're right. They don't look as big as I'm sure they do down there. Flip it to the far side, corner, no good on the triple. Knights basketball here. Alexis Lola came up with the board. Off the bench for New York is Lola. Also Miles Manica running the point now for the Knights. Takes it himself, dumps it off to his teammate down below for the easy 2.
Interesting no call there. I thought he got him.
Yeah, that's the disadvantage some of these bigger guys have. You know, maybe the refs let them absorb a little more contact than maybe a guard would down there. McNair tried to go baseline, kicked it to the far corner. Devaney comes up with it when all the dust settles.
Lohiria is 0 for 3 right now from the outside, but he's definitely a guy when he gets going could really open up that zone.
Baker to Devaney, a whistle, I believe it's going to be on
Cameron Chin.
Yep.
It's unfair. From Rhode Island, and I coached against Rocky Hill, so I don't need to sneak a peek at the roster. The NEMA guys get me, though.
Yeah, that one's on Cameron Chin down below in the post away from the ball. Into Devaney, looking for Baker. They land the pass to him. A no-look layup, if you want to call it that. Kind of was facing out toward midcourt, flipped it up over his head, and got it to go.
Yeah, that was a good little out-of-bounds play by NEMA right there. Michener was a little late on the weak side help.
And their first triple of the day is good. They cut the deficit to just 5 points. Sire Hazard on the three-pointer for Rocky Hill. Devaney to Manica. Head coach Bob Ron is pretty much at half court talking in his player's ear for New York.
No coach lines on this court.
Baker went hard to the cup, tipped out. It'll stick with the Knights.
Wonder if NEMA will stick to that quick post-up that they were successful on last time.
And it looks like they'll talk this one over. Bob Ron, the sixth-year head coach for NEMA, takes the timeout. It's going to be our first break of the day. 5:24 to play here in the first. New York Military Academy ahead 16-11. Much of their offense running through 6'6" wing Jake Devaney, as well as the big man Khalil Baker down below. The offense has been handled primarily by those two. And like I said before, New York has had more than a handful of layup attempts that probably could have fallen. Their lead, you'd like to think they'd like it to be more than 5 right now, the way things have been going. But Rocky Hill's been scrappy. They've stayed in it. They've run on a few fast breaks and converted to keep this thing tight. They've taken advantage on the defensive end, rushing a few of those potential layups for New York. They maybe misfire on the look, and Bob Ron's got things figured out for his side, and they'll take the ball under their own basket. Point guard Miles Manica will take the pass. Marked by Sire Hazard. Into the far side corner. 1 second on the shot clock, and they don't realize it. You could hear their head coach yelling at him to shoot it. And that play, not how they drew it up. Rocky Hill will take over. Elijah McNair inbound to Evan Michener. Closing in on 5 minutes to play here in the first. McNair to Michener to Hazard. They'll reset at the top of the formation. The 2-3 zone for NEMA. Hazard back to Michener. Tried to get the back door, but tipped out of there by Khalil Baker. And how about the handles on the big man? Some basketballs go flying up to the other end. Emmanuel Belde with the finish, cuts the deficit to 3.
I tell you, the more transition opportunities for Rocky Hill, the more exciting it's going to be, the better chance they have of staying in this.
Exactly. They've capitalized on the fast break. They've played strong defense to rush some New York shots, which has kept them in the game so far. Devaney flips it to Manica. Down below to the big man. Goes inside. They're going to call Cameron Chin for the block, I believe. Didn't quite have the feet set on the post up.
Right idea, though. You know, he was trying to fight around. I mean, that's a big size difference.
Yep. You got to do what you got to do in matchups like those. You got to get creative in ways to take advantage of it. Tried to take the charge. Didn't quite get the feet set. New York back to the foul line.
And Chin's a very good defender. He's a fifth-year player. He played at Bishop Hendrick in high school for legendary coach Jamal Gomes, where they're a defensive-first approach, and he's brought a little bit of that to Rocky Hill this year.
First free throw goes. Each team deep into their bench at this point. We saw the starters for most of the way up until now, but New York comes up with their own miss before Alexis Lola is called with the travel. So the offensive rebound is all for naught. Here comes Rocky Hill. Rocky Hill, we've seen them severely slow down the pace when they're in the half-court offense, but they've been most effective maybe when they're running on the fast break and playing a lot faster than Nema.
And you'll notice this 5-out approach, which is pretty unconventional for a team attacking the 2-3 zone.
Left side corner, gets it to go, Elijah Mitchner.
Unconventional pays off once in a while, though, you know?
It can be a dangerous game when you rely on shooting as much as a team like Rocky Hill does. He had a wide open man down below, didn't see him with his back turned. They'll get it out to Baker and reset things with 3.5 to play here in the first. Kicks out to Lola, corner three, got it.
Great find out there in the corner. Terrific finish and kill a little bit of that Rocky Hill momentum.
Yep. Pushes the lead back up to 4. Anytime Rocky Hill's gotten within one and they're even taking the lead by a point or two, New York feels like they've answered right back. It's Alexis Lola there with the near side triple.
They're going back to that open post offense right now. Try to distort that Nema zone, take advantage of maybe some slower guys on the bottom.
Jake Devaney, no one to beat. House call for 2. Chin to Belday. They flip the court. Far corner again. Selling out on the three-pointers. It can be a dangerous game. Like I said, when you rely on your jump shooting that much, if you go cold, things can go sideways quick.
Yeah, and I think without Knight in the game, they're sort of weathering the storm on both ends of the court and trying to make up for that lack of size.
Yep, Knight had a few early fouls. He's on the bench right now with 2.5 to play here in the first. We also haven't seen Alan Myers since the opening minutes for New York, who also picked up a pair. Khalil Baker fakes the 3, will take it down inside. I think they'll get Emmanuel Belday on the foul there.
Kind of like his footwork. There's a gracefulness about him after that shot fake.
There is. It feels like as the game's gone on, he's gone a little looser, a little quicker, a little better with the handle.
Yep.
I didn't quite know what to expect when I first saw him out there, but as the game's gone on, he's getting more and more comfortable. Feels like he's pulling more tricks out of his bag as we go.
Yeah, he's fun to watch.
Has had some trouble finishing some of his fancy moves today. Missed the layup there, although he's fouled. Missed the first attempt at the line. Second one's down. 2.5 here from the first from Worcester Academy. The Class D finals between New York Military Academy and Rocky Hill Country Day. New York ahead by 7 here in the first. Again, the 5-out offense. Back to the top. Gets in the way of Jake Devaney. Give and go with him. Tries to finish with the right. Can't get it down. Baker's there. Couldn't quite clean up the first mess, but picked it up on the second effort.
They're going to have to come out quick and furiously when they start this half and get Knight back out there. It's hard to run the risk. You got to eat up these 2 minutes, right?
Yep, there's 1:58 to play here in the first. We're going to get a timeout from Rocky Hill. And like you said, Max Knight feels like he's going to be the X factor here moving into the second. I saw him out there during warm-ups, throwing down a handful of jams. Looks like one of the more athletic guys on the team, certainly the tallest guy on the team, and they need him back out there to compete with the size of Khalil Baker right now.
Yeah, negating some of that height and size that Nema has right now when you're Rocky Hill. You want to get off the ground a little bit faster. You maybe want to tip things out to your quick athletic guards. You got to find some unconventional ways to rebound and survive this time without size.
And we talk about Khalil Baker a lot on Nema's side. He's been a force, has had trouble finishing. Jake Devaney, also the same 6'6" as Khalil Baker, plays as more of a wing. He's gotten his hand in the middle of more than a handful of passes on the defensive end, run on a few fast breaks, so he's been a tough guard for Rocky Hill as well to this point, matching his size and speed on both ends of the floor.
This 2-3 zone right now is really slowing Rocky Hill down without that, that post presence. I think a lot of times when you're attacking 2-3 zones, you want to be able to get it inside, collapse one or two guys, and they're having a hard time really doing that against this zone right now with no post presence.
There's Chin, top of the key. Gets it away to Belday. Had Michener on the elbow. Lets him float up to the three-point line before they get it to him. Devaney in coverage. Chin tried to cut, nowhere to go, and they're going to get him. Looked like a toe maybe out of bounds in that far corner.
Well, you did see a couple opportunities where they were trying to get into that high post area with the opposite flashes, so you can tell it's definitely being discussed in the Rocky Hill huddle.
Devaney to Baker to the 2. They extend the lead here under 2 minutes in the first. Chin directing traffic. Away to Michener, cuts it inside, steps to the right, and floats it home for 2.
Good job penetrating, getting by that top line of the zone and finishing strong around that length.
Alexis Lola, nowhere to go. They'll wheel it back out. 43 seconds in the half, 15 seconds to shoot. Baker. Again, down into the post, up with the left, too shy. Got his own miss, there was nobody home, fired it into the Rocky Hill bench. Shot clock still on with 31.5 to play in the frame.
You're looking at a 12-2 run over the last 4 or 5 minutes without Knight in there. If I'm Rocky Hill and there's a 1 second difference in the shot clock, I'm doing what I can to keep this to a 1 possession right before the half.
Agreed. Rocky Hill dips back into their bench. Uriah Williams into the ball game, number 32 in the far corner, and Cameron Chin will just let this clock wear down. But a 1.5 seconds difference, game and shot clock, 5 seconds to shoot. Chin, near side 3, got it!
There it is.
What a way to end the frame there for Rocky Hill. A triple from Elijah McNair to draw this thing back down to 6. And we'll send it to break here after 1. New York Military Academy 27, Rocky Hill Country Day 21. Back here from Worcester Academy in the great state of Massachusetts. We're here for the Class D finals between New York Military Academy and Rocky Hill Country Day. I'm Cameron Beal, joined by Sean Kelly. New York Military Academy ahead 27-21 at the break, thanks to a triple at the end of the half by Rocky Hill's Elijah McNair to cut the deficit to just 6. And the first half was a bit of a slog for Rocky Hill. The big man, Max Knight, was out early with foul trouble. They had trouble keeping up with the size and speed of NEMA, but they cut the deficit to 6. It feels like they are never quite out of this, no matter how much New York's pulled away in that first half.
Yeah, I think the two keys here are going to be Max Knight and his involvement here in the second half on both ends of the court, and really how Rocky Hill attacks that 2-3 zone on New York Military Academy.
Max Knight back into the game, number 40 in white down below, a block right away. And here comes Rocky Hill, his impact already being noted.
Announcing his presence with authority on the first possession. That's a statement.
Max Knight really the only guy that can keep up with the size of NEMA. The two big men down below. Alan Myers on the right block. He was out early as well in foul trouble. Back into the game. Jake Devaney in coverage now, 6'6", one of their wings. So really outsizing Rocky Hill. A step back, 3 wide left. And they're going to get him for the shot clock as that ball did not hit the rim.
So we got a nice adjustment by New York Military Academy right here. A reaction to that 5-out open post offense that Rocky Hill had. They went 3-2 zone. They're keeping their two bigs in the back, sending the wings down to the corners. And they're really going to force Rocky Hill to get the ball inside somehow.
Rocky Hill looked uncomfortable with the ball in the paint in the first half, especially with Knight out of the game. They were playing a 5-out offense.
Drag the foot.
Alan Myers with the travel. He's had a handful of turnovers here so far. Illegal screen in the first half, the travel there. Back to Rocky Hill, and like I was saying, Rocky Hill playing with that 5-out offense in the first half. Didn't really want any business of going inside that arc. But with Knight back in the game, maybe a little more versatility for their offense. McNair thought about the 3, gets a screen from Knight. They swing back around to the other side. Turnover, and here comes NEMA. Khalil Baker picks it up, skips it ahead. Devaney off the glass with the left.
Rocky Hill in that last possession went back to screening the top of the zone, trying to force a little bit of reaction and then weak side rotations. You got to take advantage of that.
Lahulier from the far corner. Knight on the screen. They opt to go the other way. Flips it to the near side wing. McNair probing the defense. Flips it. Lahulier for 3. Shoe shy. Gets his own miss and follows it for 2.
Let's hope that gets a little bit of confidence for him. You can see a little bit of the body language there. Now he's 0 for 4 from the 3, but maybe that'll get him going.
Sitter Vicious running the point for New York. Lahulier in coverage. Far side corner. There's Myers. And Mitchner the other way for Rocky Hill. An uptick in tempo here for Rocky Hill. Another 3 for McNair. Wide left once again, trying to find that stroke that he had to finish off the first half and draw the deficit to just 6 points here ahead of the second.
Rocky Hill's going to want to get back out in transition, beat that zone down court, especially with how much difficulty they have attacking it right now.
They've been most effective offensively. It was early in the first half when they were really running the floor, pushing the pace, running on the break. Like you said, up over the outstretched arm of Max Knight for 2.
I think the other piece of it, too, is, if they get some buckets, they're able to set up their press, and that's a good starting point to generate that transition for them.
Exactly. Mitchner again back to that same spot in front of his own bench, awaiting the screen from Knight. Faked left, went right, pass to McNair. But Emmanuel Belde with the miss there. Tried to go baseline. Here's Devaney to Baker. Fake baseline, spin toward the middle. Once again, mishandles the ball. Off the defender, however, it'll stick with New York.
It's a really good adjustment by NEMA coming out in that 3-2 component, or even extending 2-3. I'm still trying to figure out what it is, but keeping those bigs homes, really locking Rocky Hill into this one shot per possession, and that's really altering the pace of this game and favorably for NEMA.
Nima with the 31-23 advantage. 19 on the shot clock, 12.5 to play here from Worcester. Over the top to Baker. He'll take Max Knight to school with the soft finish on the right.
Graceful. Coming back to it. So graceful.
It's unbelievable. So light on his feet. He's had some trouble holding on to the basketball today, but when he gets to the rim, it's pretty to watch. Again, a screen from Knight. Far side, three, down! 33-26.
Rocky Hill's going to get a little bit more success if they can get it east to west and shift that zone a little bit more and create some tough closeouts for Nima.
Devaney to Baker. The combination they like, and he'll go back-to-back again, extending it to 9.
Good job by Knight there, contesting, not picking up that third foul, using his length to the best of his ability. It's just a tough finish.
McNair gliding right, kicked it to Lahulier. Takes it back out in front of his own bench. Screen from Knight, cut toward the midline. Michener to Belde. Lahulier keeps it in bounds. McNair had nowhere to go with it. The three from Michener. And they've gone cold from 3 in this half. Sitter vicious on the break, coast to coast through traffic. And he'll draw the foul on the other end.
Rocky Hill's really sticking to that wing screen action to shift the zone. You know, I'd like to see him, at least for their sake, offer something a little bit different. Some work behind the zone maybe, get some opposite flashes, use the high post or the short corner. Get Nima a little bit more uncomfortable in that 2-3 zone.
Kasparis, Sitter vicious, gets the first one to go. Back up to double digits for Nima, 36-26. Two for two, up to 11. Rocky Hill has work to do here in these final 11 minutes. Back to that same offensive set on the right wing. Flips it left to Elijah McNair, screen from Knight toward the middle. Michener, McNair. Nearly up over the backboard. Rocky Hill comes up with the miss, and they'll wheel this one back around. A fresh 30 seconds on the clock. Back to the left wing. The floater from Belde, no good. Alan Myers comes down with it, and they're going to get him on another turnover with the walk. I think he wanted some contact there, though.
Looks like Rocky Hill's getting some looks that they want there after the ball screen action and drawing that help defense. And you know, some of the guys are lining a couple feet behind the three-point line. You know, the Steph Curry factor,
yep.
Right? Where, you know, you almost want them, especially good shooters like McNair. You want them to step up to the three-point line. Why take the 24-footer when you could take the 20?
Exactly. Sire Hazard into the ball game. Cameron Chin. Nowhere to go in that near side corner. Flips it back to Hazard. Sitter vicious in coverage, looking to push him left. Again, like you said,
the deep threes.
Another deep three. Couldn't even catch iron on that one, and Jake Devaney will slow the pace. Khalil Baker wants to pick it up. Sitter vicious. And some miscommunication between the point guard and Khalil Brown. Here he comes the other way, the easy two.
Here comes the press. This is what Rocky Hill needs.
Into Devaney, easily across half court. Khalil Baker wide open. He hasn't been happy these last few possessions. He wants to keep the tempo up and keep Rocky Hill on their heels. Got the foot down before the ball. They'll get him for the walk. Miles Manica into the ball game for Nima. Kasparis, Sitter vicious, hits the bench. McNair, screen from Chin, flips it to Michener. Hazard for three in Khalil Brown's grill. Khalil Baker, excuse me. And the steal off the inbound, Evan Michener. And suddenly we've got a 4-point game and a timeout from New York Military.
Having coached against this Rocky Hill team earlier in the year, you don't want to create scenarios where they get buckets and they get some energy and they're able to get into that press and the run and jump action. That's a quick 5 points, real fast.
Yeah.
Back in it.
Like we said it many a time in the first half, I feel like New York, they got ahead by, 6 or 7 points. Rocky Hill cuts it down to 1 or 2. Now New York gets ahead 10 or 11 points. They suddenly, a big swing, like you said, cut it down to 4 with 9:05 to play. New York far and away the more athletic and physically dominant team, but you don't want to let this Rocky Hill team get their emotions back into it, because when they're playing fast and they're into it and the crowd's up and they're up, that's when they've been most dangerous today.
And I think they're starting to get a little bit of success getting in the open court, extending it out. It's pretty clear at this point in the game, 3/4 of the way through it, that NEMA wants to play 25% of the court. They want to slow it down. They want to take advantage of that size. And Rocky Hill wants to use the speed and athleticism of their guards and get out. And the more they keep scoring, the more opportunities they have to get into this press. It's going to be a fun finish.
I'd like to keep an eye on Khalil Baker, as if we haven't been doing that all afternoon already. He's been a little displeased the last few offensive trips down, wants to keep the pressure up, some miscommunication. And that last trip down for Rocky Hill, Sire Hazard nailed the 3 right in his face and let him hear it. So let's see how Baker and Devaney and company answer. Devaney with the left-hand finish. No need for Baker on that one.
The hard part with the press is sometimes you give up those layups in transition if you're not able to turn them over and get that quick shot.
Chin on the screen toward the midline. McNair. Belday to the cup. No good. Precious Clark got in there. Khalil Brown goes to work, loses the handle once again. I believe it'll stick with NEMA. Off the hand of Emmanuel Belday for Rocky Hill.
Previous possession for Rocky Hill. Belday's doing a really good job getting it on that left side, ripping through and attacking that baseline.
That's been his primary move on offense today. I feel like he waits in that near side corner just for the right moment to cut baseline and catches him sleeping a lot of the time. Has had some trouble with the finish, but has had that look open to him more than a handful of times today. That'll stick with NEMA under their own basket. They dip into the bench. It'll be Emmanuel Belday to hit the bench. Zyshawn Allen, his first time on the court this afternoon for Rocky Hill.
Stepped over.
And Precise Clark stepped over the line. Some miscommunication with, I believe, Jake Devaney. The near side official caught it, and it'll go to Rocky Hill. Mitchner assuming his position in front of his own bench. Takes the screen from Chin. Once again, McNair. Another screen from Chin. The same look we've seen this entire half from Rocky Hill. Free throw line, Chin, 3-pointer, Hazard too strong on it.
All these 3-pointers look like they're going in from up here.
They do.
It's a funny angle.
Yeah, we're at a tough vantage point here.
Good hands.
The crowd on their feet, a jump ball. It's going to go to Rocky Hill.
What great mental toughness by Hazard there, right? You airball a shot. You got to have a next play mentality. He comes down, knocks the ball loose, hits the ground, gets the ball right back for Rocky Hill. That's
exactly.
really mentally tough.
The type of winning plays they need in this one. A 6-point game, although if you didn't have a scoreboard in front of you, you might not be able to tell. Rocky Hill has cut this one down to 6, despite the dominant first half from NEMA. Hazard thought about the 3. Well, again, another screen from Chin. Mitchner.
Good job going over the screen.
Wheels around himself. Cameron Chin. They get him for the travel. Did you think he got the ball down in time? Or?
It's the optics sometimes that get you, right? Because it's fairly unconventional.
Yeah. I think the crowd would have simply burned the bleachers down if they didn't call a travel there. But I thought there was a chance that he maybe got the ball down before his feet. Sitter vicious to the cup. Touches every inch of the rim, but not the bottom of it. A reach from behind. The Carlos Coggers of NEMA.
I haven't had the pleasure of saying Sitter Vicious yet, but tell me, that's got to be on the short list of enjoyable names to say on the air.
It's
right?
good. For the longer names like that, once you get them down and you can, without even thinking about it, it's good. And Sitter Vicious is one of them.
There's some emphasis to the syllables,
yeah.
and he kind of plays like there's a toughness about him.
Exactly.
Right?
Kasparis, Sitter Vicious for New York Military in coverage on Cameron Shin. They'll hand him off to Carlos Coggers. Toward the midline, 2 steps up with the right. Maybe was anticipating a little more contact than he got when he went up with it.
It's a tough one. You take that extra dribble and you think you get a clear look to finish on the left, and then you get the guys open on the left. That's a tough decision to make there.
Oh, Khalil Baker's going to get the charge here as he stumbled into Cameron Shin.
He didn't get the one earlier under the hoop in the first half, but he got that one. He beat him to the spot. That's terrific defense right there on the open court.
Great turnaround from Shin, as well as coach was yelling at him to get up into the press. He kind of caught on his heels in the front court, got up, marked Khalil Baker, and drew the turnover. McNair to Hazard. Michener on the end around. He'll stick with it.
Went back to that weave action, see if they could catch a favorable switch.
Defers the screen from Shin. Step back. I think his toe was on the line. Doesn't matter either way.
Rocky Hill's getting the stops that they need, but they just need one more to fall, get a little bit more momentum on offense.
Yeah, New York feels like they've been stuck at 39 for a few minutes now. Devaney on the trailer, up with the left in the reverse. He'll head to the line.
Beautiful curl action right there, and when in doubt, if you're struggling on offense, try to get something north to south, get to the rim, get to the free throw line, build some confidence, get this pace of play back where you need it to be.
Similar to what we said about Rocky Hill at the beginning. You just got to see the first few go down. New York's been slow on offense the last few minutes, and Devaney connects on the first for their sake, hopefully to get them back going. Zyshawn Allen hits the bench for Rocky Hill. 2 for 2 for Devaney. 41-33, 8-point advantage for Nema. Emmanuel Belday up with the right. Draw the contact.
I think if you're Coach Lottie, he's saying, how come the guy on the baseline didn't call that? He had the better angle. I think with 6 minutes to go, you're just happy the whistle gets blown.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. I don't think anybody could call it.
Yeah, you don't worry about where it's coming from,
nope.
as long as it got there.
That was great.
Emmanuel Belday connects on the first, down to 7. 5:40 to play here from Worcester. 2 for 2, and again we're down to 6. A lot of contact for Kasparis. Sitter Vicious, no whistles. It was away from the ball. Tipped out of there by Sire Hazard. Stepped out of bounds. Stick with Nema. Hazard has been all over the floor since entering here in the second half.
He had nice momentum, personal momentum with that three-pointer late in the first half, and I think it gave him a little bit of confidence. Only an 8th grader.
Devaney off the screen, stops, pops, and hits.
Nice down screen action. And New York Military Academy, they're getting what they need, right? Despite what feels like a really bad long drought, they're getting what they need, and it's a sign of a well-coached team.
Baker's gone quiet here in the second half for the most part. Had a couple layups about 10 minutes ago. Been quiet since. Comes up with a steal there. Just kind of rips it straight from the hand of Belday. Sitter Vicious across half court. Baker wants it. They get it to him. He goes baseline hard with the right.
Good job with that weak side screen action, putting him on his back. Isolate the post, finish at the rim. Good offense by Nema.
Timeout from Rocky Hill as New York Military is back up to 11. 46-35 is where we have it now. And no better timing for Khalil Baker to get back involved for New York. A nice, easy layup for him there. Devaney's had a couple of baskets the last few trips down. So the two guys they needed to get involved are getting involved finally. Under 5 to go. Looking to hold off a comeback from Rocky Hill, who hasn't quite gone away today, despite New York being the better overall team.
I mean, it's definitely familiar foes, right? You get down to the championship round, and they're separated geographically by about 3 hours or so they don't see each other in the regular season, but it's one of those situations when you've seen each other in the finals for, over half a decade, right? You kind of follow them all along,
exactly.
and you know what's at the end of the tunnel, right?
You keep tabs on them along the way. You know that this is entirely possible, and alas, here we are, and I'm sure they're familiar with each other, like you said. McNair, no good on the pull-up. Four and a half to play. The clock working against Rocky Hill here, down 11. Devaney comes out of nowhere, fires from straight away, wide right. Alexis Lola draws the contact and will head to the stripe.
Cameron Chin had a reaction as if he wasn't very guilty on that one. But it seemed
they always do.
Yeah, it seemed like he got him pretty good.
Yeah, that's generally the reaction you'll get from basketball players in general, high school basketball players.
Totally.
Can do no wrong.
Yeah. Perhaps the aerial view up here affords us a better opportunity to make that call, right?
Lead up to 12 for Nema. Wide open, Belde. Too shy, Max Knight. A quiet half to this point after starting out with a bang. Kicked off the second half with a block on the defensive end. Haven't heard much from him since.
Nema's done such a good job the last 4 or 5 possessions, being deliberate, effective, running their stuff, getting good shot opportunities, and it's almost like a slow death for Rocky Hill right now.
Baker gets the mismatch in the double team, kicks to Devaney near side, bottom! 15-point lead for Nema. And they've got to push the pace here, 3.5 from Worcester Academy in the Class D finals. Belde back to the baseline. Contact on Khalil Brown.
A little bit of a hip check right there, right?
Yep. Emmanuel Belde to the stripe. 3:17 to play here in the second half. Gets the first to go. What's that old cliche? You want to score points when the clock's not moving.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
Rocky Hill, I imagine we'll use Belde to their advantage with that baseline move he's done so often today. Try and draw some contact whenever they can.
Quick sub for Knight right now, going back to probably a different look with some full court pressure. Get some run and jump with those quick guards. In it right off this rebound.
Zyshawn Allen, number 1 in white.
Oh.
Khalil Baker.
Ten-second call.
No. I'm so used to a lot of the high school games I've seen no shot clock, and so they usually just let 10 seconds go because nobody's actually counting. Still getting used to the shot clock.
No one in the stands freaking out, playing with the clock when it hits the teens.
Hazard for 3, no good. Hasn't been able to find his jumper here in the second half.
Credit to Nema, though. I mean, they're doing such a good job pushing those guards off the three-point line. Ooh.
Not much Zyshawn Allen can do there.
I thought Allen did a pretty good job going vertical on that one. But I'm not down there officiating. I'm up here with you. I gotta let that be known.
Maybe we should get you down there. There's got to be some striped shirts around here somewhere.
I don't think I'm emotionally prepared for that.
We'll get you in the far corner over there. We'll just kind of mix you in.
This is a better fit at this point in the year for Coach Kelly.
Baker misses on the first. Keep the lead at 14, and I don't know if he's having a conversation with the rim or the official, but took a few steps up, regathered himself.
The basketball gods,
Had a word with someone up there.
There's an audience.
1 for 2. Under 3 to play. Rocky Hill needs points. Hazard tried to go bounce pass to Belde off the toe of a Knight.
Interesting defensive strategy here by Nema, going to that press late in double-digit game as opposed to being more conservative, staying in that zone. Keeping Rocky Hill off balance. I like that move by Coach.
McNair had nowhere to go with it. Devaney gets his mitts in there one last time. He'll wheel it back around. Slow things down. A foul from Hazard. And Rocky Hill is suddenly in that territory of the game. 2:21, down 15. Nema now in the bonus. Devaney will head to the line.
It is that emotionally deflating part of the game when you're the team down 15, right? Where there's not quite enough answers.
It really is a sobering moment when that first intentional foul comes and you look up at the scoreboard and you're like, oh shoot, we got to start doing this.
Yep. Unless you're Reggie Miller at Madison Square Garden, then it's a little different.
Kasparis, Sitter, Vicious to the line for Nema. Alexis Lola, Jake Devaney, and Khalil Baker exchanging high fives in the backcourt as they're having the opposite realization that with 2:09 to go, they're about to be champs.
That's less emotionally deflating, right? Being on the other end of it, particularly as a coach, and you're in it, and now you're like, clock's in my favor. We got the lead we need.
Up ahead to Belde. Held the pivot, flips it to Hazard. And unfortunately met by Khalil Baker in the post. Sitter Vicious up the far sideline. Can't get the pass away, and flagged with the foul, I believe, on Sire Hazard.
They wanted the self-pass.
Oh, yeah, you might be right. Timeout nonetheless for New York Military.
Wanting and getting are two different things.
Yeah.
Right?
Timeout on the floor, 1:49 to play for New York Military. I'm sure just regrouping, make sure they have all their ducks in a row for the final 2 minutes here. A 17-point advantage. They started the second half ahead just 6 when Elijah McNair nailed the 3 at the end of the first half to draw things a little bit closer. But New York has capitalized on their opportunities and pulled back ahead here in the second.
Yeah, credit to Nema. I mean, it felt like a really long offensive drought for them, and they weathered what appeared to just be this momentous Rocky Hill move, right? And here they are, 4, 5, 6 straight possessions of deliberate offense, 15, 20 seconds off the clock. Sometimes that's more of a dagger when you're defending for 2/3 of the shot clock, and then boom, a 3 goes down, or you give up a layup. That's it's like a double whammy.
Exactly, yeah. Rocky Hill back on the floor to be Cameron Chin, Emmanuel Belde, Zyshawn Allen, Evan Mitchner, and Elijah McNair filling up the 5 for Rocky Hill. Devaney, the easiest 2 points he'll ever get to put his team ahead, 19, 1:42 to play.
That is the exclamation point.
Michener tried to go up for two, had to go up over the top of the size of Nema. No good. Far corner, Alexis Lola, why not? No good. Had Devaney wide open down below.
15 second half points for Rocky Hill. And certainly don't want to be the announcer who's adding insult to injury, but 15 points is a testament to how good this Nema defense has been today.
Yeah, in the semifinal game against 5th seeded Christian Heritage, New York took down their opponent 73-36. They've allowed the same 36 today, about 20 points shy of that last one, but a couple of great defensive efforts nonetheless. Kasparis, Sitter Vicious downs the first one to make it 20. Two for two. 3-touchdown lead for New York Military. McNair drives hard into the paint. He'll head to the line. Yet another foul on Khalil Brown. Back to 20, 57-37. 1:02 to play, and New York Military will continue to get some subs into the game. Alexis Lola and Carlos Coggers hit the bench for the soon-to-be Class D champs. Across half court, and we are under 60 seconds to go from Worcester Academy. Khalil Brown will take the intentional foul, 50.3 on the clock. 19 points separating the two teams. And the only question mark that remains really is this going to be a 20-point game or not? More subs into the game for the Knights. 2 for 2. 21-point advantage. And that should be it. All of New York Military starters out of the game. And everything from here on out should be ancillary. And they're just going to allow the substitution, it seems, to get Sire Hazard off the floor. They'll allow the substitution mid-play and just keep going to get someone in. McNair for three. Back under 20. $18 points. Looks like Rocky Hill is done with the intentional fouls. We'll see if New York can mess around and bring it back up to 20, and they can. Emmanuel Belde, too little too late, struggled getting the shots to fall in the second half, but as the clock ticks to zeros, the New York Military Academy Knights are your Class D champs, defeating Rocky Hill Country Day by a final of 61-44 here from Worcester Academy. A great game overall from wing Jake Devaney and big man Khalil Baker for New York Military. Secures the victory. They went into the half up just 6, and they extend their lead by much more than that in the second to put an exclamation point on this game.